At the end of this video, my Jeep is gonna look like this. Now I know that's hard to believe because in the first two videos it didn't look like this. And it wasn't easy. And we're gonna get all the painting done, get everything touched up, get that blend done, and it's not gonna go well. And we're gonna have to do it, twice. But that's the way it goes. So yeah, stay tuned.
The Notch X-Max fender flares. I've spent the last 7 years of my life putting these together and getting them basically fitting perfectly. So I'm excited to get to painting. Right now I think we're doing final sand to the flares, and then we're gonna take them off, get them on the table, get them prepped and painted. And then we've also got to touch up this back area where there was some rust repair. We're painting that too, and we're blending. I've never blended before. He's never blended paint before, and you're just a camera guy. So it sounds like none of us really know what we're doing. Chris has been in the other side of the shop making money. He hasn't really seen kind of what we've done to the flares in the past video, maybe two. We've touched up some of the corners and filled in the gaps with Bondo. As you can see, we've added quite a bit of material, especially on places like this. And it's pretty seamless. Right now, there's no chips through the Bondo, and we're hoping to keep it that way through the end of the project. But everything is fitting super tight, super flush. So a couple problems that we ended up having with the flares is first off the initial fitment. They didn't really fit, they weren't really tight in some areas, which I'm sure is being added right now. So we decided to use Gorilla Glue and cardboard to create a bridge for the Bondo, which was my brilliant idea. We'll see how that holds up over time. But I'm hoping with enough Bondo, it'll act like a burrito and sandwich the loose cardboard paper material in the Bondo burrito that keeps it safe. You really had to get it right when putting the Bondo on. And I mean, I've only taken these fenders off and put them on probably 10 times, and Ryan's done it at least 3 or 5, and Chris, I will take it.
I was in the other side of the shop working, and I drilled holes.
Were they correct?
No.
Oh, okay. The good news, they look pretty good. The bad news, everything else.
It's time to move on to paint. We have our makeshift paint booth ready. And by makeshift paint booth, it's really just the same side of the shop we've been working in, but now it's a little bit cleaner. So we gotta back the Jeep back in, pull the flares off, do a top sand over the, 3 years of dirt and grime, and then we'll shoot primer, and then we'll sand the primer, and then we'll paint them, and then they'll look really good.
So just real quick, let's talk about the last Jeep we painted, because that was a couple of years ago at this point, correct? How did that go? What did we learn from that?
I don't know.
You don't know? We learned that we didn't have enough filters and there was oil in the line, and our paint job came out okay. It just took 7 layers of clear coat and a lot of wet sanding. So we're gonna try to get this in one go. I learned a lot the last time, so I'm ready to win.
I have 400 grit sandpaper on our beautiful Milwaukee tool. So I'm going to finish sanding the top of the fender flares, and then we'll get started. You can actually see the color difference and see where I've sanded and where I haven't. I got powder donut hands. Now I believe it is time to take the fender flares off the Jeep. And we'll sand this, and then we'll sand the edge of the flare that's closest to the body, because you can't really right now. and then we'll shoot primer. All right, it's time.
But with the power of friendship, I'm gonna have help.
Chris, can you source a container to put all the hardware? Like, I don't know. All right, I appreciate the effort. We got my Swiss cheese Jeep out and about. Looks like I got into a firefight. And Mr. Chris is starting on the sanding. Do you want to lock your watch on this one too?
Last time we painted a Jeep, it was that way for a couple months, and I set my watch in the dashboard inside the Jeep. It was a solar watch, and wouldn't you believe it, it was dead before I could get back to it.
Welcome to the paint booth. Chris is sanding our last fender flare, or I guess last two. But I'm gonna try to paint them on the table. I hope that works okay, I don't know. And then we're gonna paint the lower quarters right here. So we gotta get the Jeep covered in plastic.
Yeah, so basically this is what everyone's paint booth looks like. It's just a garage with this fan going. But hey,
Works.
we'll take it.
This is our CNC paint provider. We have a big roll of plastic. This is from the last time we painted a Jeep. I'll put pictures of the Jeep in the video. It came out really good. Kinda. Well, there were two things that got us. We didn't know that air needed to be dried, and now we have an air drying setup for plasma cutting. So we're gonna piggyback off that for our spray gun, and that should hopefully solve most of the problems we had. And then we'd only have to shoot stuff one time. It's a giant run. Well, I guess we're gonna learn how to wet sand clear coat in this video. But we have leftover plastic. We got our clear coat, our paint reducer, my color match paint, our primer. We got everything we should need to make like a 5-star paint job. And we even have the employees to help make it happen. So now we're gonna put plastic on the Jeep while Chris finished sanding. Say it, while Chris finished fine from the start to the end. Yeah, let's just do that. So hold this, and I'll do this.
All right.
And I will roll this. And then I think, theoretically, it should be wide enough.
For
Right?
something to happen.
Yeah.
It's just all tangled, twisted.
Oh. But we'll get there. Welcome. The plastic's on the Jeep. It looks like one giant condom. So now I'm gonna take the spray gun and I'm gonna spray around the plastic. And I'm gonna make sure that no plastic is gonna come down and touch what I'm painting, because when we painted the last car, the plastic went, stuck to the clear coat. So that wasn't fun.
It made it all the way through the primer though.
It did.
And the paint. Not the clear coat.
Woo, 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 woo. Oh, that side passed. That's awesome. Aha, look at that.
Yeah, would have got you.
It would have got me. Okay, now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use some alcohol, whatever this is, and I'm gonna wipe down the edges so that they're clean. And then we'll use a tack cloth when it's just before time to paint. And then we're gonna shoot some primer.
It's time.
So now, it is almost time to shoot primer. So we are going to wipe everything down with a tack cloth. And then come over here and mix our stuff and then shoot our primer and then regret everything. Yay! I'm gonna mix primer while he does this. Mr. Chris is gonna wipe down all those fenders. And we're gonna mix our primer while he does that. It's not like this is a how to paint video. This is probably gonna turn into a how not to paint video. Maybe I'm not gonna use as much as I was planning on. Look at this. We gotta focus on the video. All right, I'm ready. I'd say it looks pretty good.
Yep, I would say so.
I'm gonna start with the Jeep.
Cool. Start down here.
All right, we're back to working on the Jeep. The painting Jeep. The Jeep needs to be painted. I know in this video it's been 10 seconds, but it's actually been a week and a half. We went to SEMA, we did a heater core. We did all kinds of stuff, but the primer is fully cured, hopefully. I mean, it's been a week and a half. If it's not, then there's not much I can do about it. So what we are going to do now is take some of this guide coat and spray it loosely over everything. And then we are going to sand away, and the guide coat will help us. Yeah, I'll show you. We just loosely spray some guide coat on there. And then we'll sand until all the guide coat is gone, and then we'll know that we've sanded there. And we'll do that for everything. And then we'll put this away. We're gonna do 220 for the first round, and then we're gonna smooth it out with 400. And then we're gonna prime and clear, and they might look good by the end of it. It is quite literally just supposed to show you where you have and haven't sanded so that you don't miss a spot and have an uneven paint. We're gonna let that dry for 5 to 10 minutes. We'll run the compressor so we can have air, because this is gonna get very powdery and sandy, and we'll have to blow it all out. So we will do that, I guess. I mean, I guess for the video it's gonna be like 2 seconds, so I will start the 2 seconds now. Okay, it's quite literally been 2 seconds, and Chris is over here working on his beautiful, no imperfections 2013 Z01 with this big giant motor, and he's trying to do an oil change. He made a mess. Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have to get some Dawn dish soap
I
to
was gonna
save the
say,
ducks.
he's gonna turn to the Dawn dish duck. What happened to Mister? Broken.
You know, if you drove one of those electric cars, this wouldn't happen.
All right, we're back. It's dry. It's time to sand now. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna use sandpaper, and we might even put it on a block. And it's really that simple. We are part of the way through sanding. We haven't done the Jeep yet. We've done most of the flares for the first pass. Some of these probably have a little bit of heavy spots. I blew off all the so now we can see them better. I'm gonna do the Jeep next. And then we're gonna do the next round of sanding with the 400 grit, and then we're gonna paint. Hopefully in 45 minutes or so. Ugh. Ugh. Alrighty, the sanding is complete. So the 400 grit is all done. We're gonna blow them off real quick because they're all covered in dust. I don't know if you can see that. We must stay focused. All right, everybody, we got done blowing it out. Now we gotta fix our plastic because it's a little busted. We need more. How about this? Oh no. There we go. That'll hold her. That'll hold her. And then it's time for the actual paint match. And I don't know how well that's gonna go. Might go well, might not. Oh, I guess we could talk about this. Like I said, all these are done being sanded. So we started with 200 grit and then we moved to 400 grit. And basically, I just sand until it all feels the same. So I got all the important pieces feeling nice and smooth, but you can see there's still a bunch of powder on them. If I take my cleanest finger, it still gets dirty. So we're gonna have to actually wipe them down, and we might want to do the tables too. But the biggest concern is the air wafting up from the ground and pulling dust up. So we have water. We're gonna dump a bunch of water on the floor, and hopefully that helps the dust stick. And then with the airflow and the water and the stuff, it'll be like a real paint booth. We might actually have a good product here. I don't know. My blend is gonna come up to about here. I think our plastic job is good enough. So we are gonna, yeah, we'll get into it. Got a nice little microfibre. We are not gonna use acetone because that will strip the primer. This hopefully shouldn't. Should be able to use this without pulling stuff off. So we're gonna do everything we can see. I didn't sand any of this because, to be honest with you, I don't really care how it looks. It just needs to be white. It's all hidden anyway. So I didn't worry about it. After we wipe everything down, we'll go over it with the tack cloth again. And then we're gonna just send it, man. We're gonna mix up some paint, spill some water. We're gonna go for it. Let's do it. Oh. Oh. What kind of law of physics is that? Wow. Look at that. Okay, so I guess we're not gonna wipe down the table. Table doesn't want to be wiped down. Yeah, these are dirty still. Okay. That's all of them wiped down. Now I guess we'll spread our bucket of holy water and let the fan circulate, and I don't know. I mean, the idea is that it raises the humidity and the dust level goes down and profit goes up, but at the end of the day, who knows? Who knows what we're really gonna get? Spread it just about everywhere. Put it in the gun, seal the gun, run the tack cloth, run over there and paint. This is our stone white paint, Chrysler edition. I hope this mixes 4-to-1. Sometimes it's 2-to-1. Forgot to ask when I bought it. So. Jeez. Wow, if you have any cuts, that burns. You know what? We got a little bit of extra time. Let's go see if this matches my Jeep. Maybe. Hard to say. Now we're painting the floor. Nothing left to do but do it. I'm nervous. We're gonna go for it. Doesn't really matter how you shape it. These flares are gonna look better than the Jeep does. So,
Ain't that the truth?
all right, here we go. Tilt 2. No.
What'd you do, Bubba? Oh man, you gotta run?
Yep.
Fuck.
I don't really know what to do.
Let me see if you gotta run on the other side.
I saw when that happened too.
Other side is good.
We either leave it or I wet sand it out once it dries.
Thoughts?
Probably wet sand it. Which means I'm gonna leave that side alone and just do this side. All right, this is our 4-to-1 vibrant clear coat. Yeah, it's clear.
Not quality, that's for sure.
This is my 4-to-1 vibrant clear activator. On today's episode of Chopped.
Today's episode of
Time to shoot some clear coat. Which makes me a very scared guy, because that's where all my problems in the past have come out, or I guess come in. It's a giant run. Well, I guess we're gonna learn how to wet sand clear coat in this video.
yes.
It's when they showed up. They showed up in the clear.
Last time we painted, we shot clear like 10 times. I'm not kidding. Good enough.
All right, that's a clear. This gets really cloudy in here really fast. I mean, this shit is. that tight
Or no?
No. No, it's fucked. It's a giant run. Well, I guess we're gonna learn how to wet sand clear coat in this video. All right, it's the next day. The paint and the clear coat have dried, they've settled, and there's a couple issues with a couple pieces here and there that we're gonna have to resolve. So that's gonna be the goal for today. So let's get into some of those issues. First, we'll start with the color match. This flare came out pretty good. So I just have it set on the Jeep here. And I don't know yet if it's visible on camera, but it is a little bit different. But it's really not that big of a deal. I'm really not worried about it. It looks close enough. So that's good. What's maybe not so good is I chose to not do a second coat of clear coat because I had a bunch of runs that I knew I was gonna have to wet sand out. And I kind of regret that. So I don't know how well you can see it, but there are some dry spots right around here. Or there's another one here. Basically, you can tell where the clear coat wasn't laid on thick enough. And typically you fix that in your following coats. But what we're gonna try to do is buff that out. We're just gonna take some buffing compound and a buffer and see if we can bring out that haziness. And if we can, great. If not, I either leave it and not worry about it, because even in this condition, these fender flares have nicer paint than the Jeep does. So I could just leave it, or I could spray more clear coat. But the problem with that is to spray more clear coat, I have to wet sand the whole fender flare again and then spray the entire thing. So, you know, it's kind of it's hard to say which way I want to go. So we'll have to see. We'll try heading out with a buffing compound and see what happens. The next problem is there is a couple runs. This fender flare has one run in the clear coat here. It's not very big. And honestly, like if we had some time crunch, I wouldn't even worry about this. But because we don't, and we want to make it as nice as possible, we are going to try and fix that. So what we're going to do is take some high grit sandpaper. We're going to sand that down until it's even with the rest of the clear. We're going to try to not break down the area around it as much. We're going to try to just hit the run. And then once it's level, we can buff it, and then we'll see if it shines. Because there's only one coat of clear coat on that, it's possible that after the wet sanding, we'll need to apply more clear coat. If that's the case, obviously we'll have to sand the entire fender flare, do that again. So we'll see. Next. This quarter panel did not get clear coated. It didn't even get a second coat of base. So you can see up here, there's still a little bit of primer sticking through because I did not get to blend my base coat in because we had a little bit of runs in this base coat. And I believe part of this might be because of this dent here. This came in my replacement panel, but I really didn't care because, again, it's a trail Jeep. But we are going to try to sand those out. So for this panel specifically, we'll have to sand that out. We'll have to sand the entire panel. Then we'll shoot another coat of base. We'll blend it up, and then we'll do our clear coat here. The worst run. If you saw our shorts or TikToks, you will have seen these. But this panel just got absolutely covered in clear. So we'll have to wet sand this whole thing and then continue shooting our clear coat. But that is probably going to take a lot of effort. On these pieces over here, they came out good. There is some stuff in the paint. And this is just because we're not using a paint booth. So the air is not like perfectly clean. So this can either be buffed out or wet sanded. There is one that has this larger thing. It kind of almost looks like maybe like a small bug. I don't know. Anyways, that's how it's all come out. So I have some sandpaper ready here. We got 1,000 grit. Actually, we have 800 all the way up to 2,500. So on the things that we don't want to shoot clear coat on again, we're going to use between 12 and 1,500 so that it's a super light scuff. We can scuff down those runs, and then we can just buff it. For the things that we are going to have to reshoot, we'll use a more aggressive, like on the base coat. We'll use this. Maybe even on this clear coat, we might even use 800 just so that it works a little bit faster. And then we might try finishing with this and then still buffing it. I'm not sure. I don't really know. I got a bowl here full of warm soapy water, a rag. We got the sandpaper. So we're going to try wet sanding this and we'll see how it goes. I guess we will start with, this one. We will start with this small run here. I'll bring all the stuff over here. We'll start sanding that. That way we can see what this process is going to look like. So I have prepared our materials. So we have our 1000 grit. We'll grab some on the rag. We're going to throw it on the flare just to make sure that the flare is lubricated. And then we're going to dip our sandpaper in the water just to make sure it's lubricated as well. And then we're going to go at it. So when you're wet sanding, it's pretty simple. You just want to keep it lubricated. And that's what the soap help does. And on the white, it's going to kind of be hard to see. When you're doing darker colors, the clear coat will get cloudy, and then you'll be able to see how much of the clear coat you've actually sanded. But with the white, I'm imagining that's going to be hard to see. So we are just going to focus on doing it right where it needs to, right where it needs it. And we'll see. This run isn't huge. It's not a huge run, so I don't know how much sanding it's going to take to get it out. I'm imagining not a lot, though. I am probably using coarser grit than I maybe need to. You just want to be careful and not use lower grits, because what you'll do is scratch this clear coat, and especially on darker colors, it'll look a lot easier to tell. I'm kind of lucky in that it's white, so we got a lot more leniency on stuff like that. Yeah, like this run is already about half the size, so you definitely can't see that on camera. There's just a little bit left. All right, we are done. Well, not done. We are done with that buffing part. I don't know how well you're able to see it on the table, but right here is where the run was. I might need to do a little bit of a deeper cut to kind of bring out this orange peel haziness. But overall, it looks good, but I did notice somewhere on here is another run I saw while I was doing that. I think right here, there's another run. Yeah. It's hard to see though. I don't even know if it's worth worrying about. But anyway, that's gonna be the kind of basic idea of what we're doing, is doing that wet sand and then the buff. And then that leaves us, in pretty good shape. So we just gotta do that on every single flare that has a run. So I'll just include a compilation of me doing that, and then we will go from there. Look it up. I don't know how long it's been in the video, but for me, it's been like 3 hours of just wet sanding. And I've made some decisions. So as we saw, there's some issues with the fenders. When I was wet sanding, I went all the way through here, past the base coat just a little bit. It almost looks like it's under the clear, but I don't think it is. Here's what we've decided, right? And by we, I mean me. Have decided that the Jeep's not perfect, right? Actually, these fender flares are on. The Jeep is not perfect, right? So when we hold this here, the nicest part in the picture is the flare, right? Despite the fact that it's got some light spots It's not the perfect clear coat job. It needs another coat. It probably could use a wet sand and a buff, which I can always do. But it doesn't matter how many times I paint these. This is never going to get better unless I repaint the whole Jeep. So I don't see the point in spending time chasing these being perfect when the Jeep they're going on isn't perfect. When it's finally time to make the paint job on the Jeep perfect, we'll do these two. But they're not metal, they're not steel. It's not like they're gonna rust or anything. They're fiberglass and Bondo. So they're gonna chill just the way they look now forever. And at some point, I'll do some body work on the Jeep. I'll maybe make it a different color. And at that point, we'll do a nice paint job. But for now, I think I'm done with these. I am done with these guys. They are good. We're gonna call it good. I might come back and wet sand and buff them to make them look good. But I mean, even like in this angle, look how shiny they are. I don't see the point. What I do see the point in though is making the Jeep look good as possible. And I just got done doing the wet sanding on this. All these runs are gone now. And I also re-wet sanded all of this. So basically, we are now prepared to shoot some more clear coat on this side. But first, we got to reshoot base on this side because of the runs that were here. So I got them mostly gone. They're not completely gone. Again, like I said, there's this dent here. I thought maybe that had something to do with the runs. I'm not so sure now. I still think the panel, there's a big kink, like it goes out pretty far. That might have had something to do with it. I don't know. What we're gonna do here is, this is down to primer, and I've re-sanded all of the base coat, and we're gonna shoot another layer of base here. We're gonna do this as our first coat, and then we'll wait, give it a 15 minutes to flash, and then we'll blend it up into here. We might do a third coat up into here, but probably not, because this upper hole here is my line for my clear coat blend. So what we are gonna do is spray some more base on this, so that way it looks good. And then once this is done and it's dry, and we've done a coat or two, then we're gonna clear coat both sides. We're gonna do our blend, and then we're gonna let it dry overnight again. So yeah, we got the shop nice and heated, so it should be ready to spray some more. All we need to do first is clean these panels. So we'll grab some more alcohol and a rag, and we'll wipe them down, make sure they're nice and clean. I have raised my blend line on this just a little bit, because if you remember, I got my clear coat all the way up to here, and my blend line was supposed to be this hole. But you know, I got it to about here, and now there's a soft line right about there. So what I'm gonna do is I wet sanded all of this up till about an inch past this line. So I wet sanded all of this down. So we're gonna shoot one more thing of clear, and that's gonna come right up to where we were last time. And then I'll shoot one more coat right under this, and then I'll spray my blend applicator there. And hopefully that'll help it blend. So first thing I need to do is either wrap these in plastic or get them somewhere else so that the overspray from what we're about to do doesn't destroy all the work. So let's do that. You can't see it, but I got clear coat paint. I mean, it's a piece of junk. Let's get to work. Let's get to work. This is enough yapping. Let's see how that first coat went. That still has a little bit of a bump, but paint-wise, it looks okay. I'm gonna throw the camera back on the tripod. We're gonna come through and do a second coat, and then I'm gonna blend it up to where you can't see any of this primer anymore. And then that'll leave us about maybe 2 inches from where our blend line is. Then we'll bring the first coat of clear up to right where we ended the base. And then our next coat of clear will come up to our blend line. And we'll throw our blending additive in. Hopefully it blends the clear coat and makes the blend look decent. I don't know. The paint looks kind of close, but it kind of looks not close. So I don't really know. I don't really care either. We've been working on this for so long. I couldn't be disappointed because my Jeep hasn't been drivable in almost 2 months. So you know what? I don't care if the fenders look good, bad, terrible. I don't care. It's gonna be good. I think I'm gonna do one more coat. Oh wow. I'm also painting my leaf springs and stuff. Gas tank, all that. Nice. All right. Here goes nothing. I'm gonna do one more. I'm gonna do another coat over here. Well, bam, we're back. Let's check it out. Okay, it's the next day. Let's throw the light on this guy, see what we got. Looks pretty good. Yep. Honestly, that's a really good blend. And now this might be a little bit more noticeable with the light. You can see right in the middle there. There's that dead spot. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the buffer, we're gonna buff it. So we're gonna get straight into that and then we'll go from there. And then I'm hoping it might be time to take the plastic off this. And then the next thing we'll have to do is we need to paint this area black. I want to paint the wheel wells black. That shouldn't take long, I hope. And we'll have to retrim these front fenders just a little bit. That shouldn't take long. We'll just go zip, zip. Let's get into it. Let's get the light on that. Oh yeah, that is much better now. Much better. There's no clear line where that wet sanding was. Finally, there are results. Jeep got them done. Yay. Let's go over real quick what I was talking about when I said the paint on the Jeep sucks. Exhibit A. Right above all the problems we had down here, we have peeling clear coat. And that's just gonna get worse. Okay, our next steps are pretty simple. We need to paint all of this. We're just gonna rattle can this. And on the front, these also are not trimmed enough. Now the good news is these just, so I can just grab an angle grinder and retrim those and then paint the edges. So that's the next thing we need to do. We're gonna throw the front flares on. We're gonna draw some expo lines. All right, there's plastic on my Jeep again. And that's because I feel that the best way to wrap up a nice paint job is with a bad one. So we are gonna paint this covered up. We're gonna use some primer. And then I have this flat black paint that we are gonna use. Out here now. Maybe the front of this leaf spring. Oh, I don't know. We're back. Let's go over where we're at. So, last night, I did all the painting for this. Painted the holes, painted the wheel wells so that they're nice and black now. I also painted the washer bottle black to try to help it hide. We'll see how that goes. I would relocate it, but my engine bay is going to be a little packed in the future, and I don't know that I have room for that. So, that's that. Same goes for the rear. And this is hard to say. It's finally time to put the fender flares on the Jeep, see what it looks like, put my interior back together, and then this will kind of be done. The only thing we're not going to do that we should do, and if you're going to do this, you need to do it, is I'm going to spray some silicone, some oil on the back of this, but they make a cavity wax. If you haven't seen it, it's got a long tube, and you can, wherever you can find a hole for an interior section like this, you can stick the straw in, and then you can spray, and it sprays a wax all the way in there. Because as you can see, if I can grab a light here, got a ratchet, that's a good light. If you look, there is a little bit of surface rust building up on the inside of this, and that is 2 years in Colorado. So if you're somewhere with high humidity, or it's rainy, or it's snowy and salty, you're cooked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just some silicone oil lube. I'm going to spray the inside of this for now because I don't have the cavity wax. It's also super expensive, which is perfect for me because this project hasn't been expensive enough. That's the only thing I'm going to do while the interior is off because that's super accessible right now. There's one other thing that we've done. I took the time, oh goodness. I took the time to try to clean this fender up, and I actually buffed everywhere around where the fender is going to sit. Because obviously if I feel like I want to do a paint correction on the hood or the doors to help match with the fender flares, I can do that whenever. But the area that's right next to where the fender flare sits is going to be hard to reach. So I just went ahead and buffed that area now, got it nice and clean. So the paint's actually shinier there. Not by much. I mean, the paint job's not really great. Oh, wow. That's really awesome for me. Wow. Aren't I a lucky guy? Wow. And now it's full of leaves in here and my trash can's blown over. Oh, no. Well, rock on, dude. All right. We're going to start with the fronts because the fronts will go on easy and it'll give me motivation to do the rears because when we get to the rear, I have to put this back together. The first thing that we need to do is find my hardware. Do I still have all of these? I don't even know. So there's these felt washers they give you that I assume are supposed to be like a little seal to help moisture from getting in the hole, or maybe it's for vibration. I don't know, but we're going to try to use them. So we have, but I know better. This is the most painful fucking thing. God, dude. Scratch your arm up every time you do this. It's finally put together. It's finally put together and it's finally done. Just pulled it out of the shop. This is what we got. So, overall, looks great. There are some spots on the fender flares where some spots might have chipped a little bit on the end of the Bondo, but once you get like 4 inches back, I mean, you can't really see it. So whatever. What are we gonna complain about, right? Those look great. That spot that I haven't trimmed yet blends in nicely with the wheel well. You can still see it if you look for it, but for now it's hidden. It's kind of all I care about. This. All right, well, this might be my outro. It might not. I don't know. You've kind of seen, I don't know what this video has kind of been like. I don't know if it's been as entertaining as the others, more or less. But there you go. You guys have watched us install all of it. So, let's see. What issues? I mean, really my biggest issue is the fitment here, if you remember. The door fender sits higher than this one. And this one is already over the line it's supposed to be at. It's supposed to come flush with this line. We're already over. And again, the reason for that is because of this stud and the way it's angled up. I still need to put the interior back together, but I'll do that in a second. I might end up recording some more. I don't even know if I'm gonna use this. If I do use this, I hope you guys enjoyed. I guess we'll see how they hold up. We'll do some follow-ups and see how they hold up. When I drove it to the paint shop to get the paint done, they already started collecting rocks just on the dirt road that I live on and everything. So yeah, oh well, we'll see how they hold up.
Hey guys, it's your mom. She's hot. Just kidding. Well, actually I'm not. Your mom's pretty hot. Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to be painting the fender sliders and that's about it.
All 3 corners?
What?
What
What are you counting? No, don't like that. I'm out of breath. We're gonna see if we can bring out the shine. I don't even know if we've touched on it. Have we? I don't think I have. Ugh. He's talking about 3 and 3, and I mean, nothing about this project is 3. There's 6 of them, and there's 4 sides to it. Alrighty. So tired of saying that. I need to stop saying that. Alrighty, 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 alrighty.
Is it terry cloth time yet?
The what?
Terry cloth time.
No. Why are you filming from down there? Okay.
I can't see.
I was thinking just like head level. The nice thing is we're all the same height, so if you just keep things at eye level, it's always at eye level.